Hi everyone, it's Sarah. So for Study and Report 5, I have created a professional learning environment that centers around the ideas of how to deal with challenging behaviors in children, specifically around early childhood ages. So that's about birth through age 5. And this would be in the form of a workshop and a guide. So looking kind of into the workshop and the guide, I would utilize Google Classroom, Google Slides, YouTube, and Google Forms. And the workshop would be self-paced with various modules to work through and complete, and those would all be present within a Google Classroom site. And the guide would be provided in the form of a downloadable PDF for the learners to keep so they can always refer back to it whenever they need to. Now, in getting this information out, wherever they would see the information to join the Google Classroom, they would also be provided with the class code, so they would be able to kind of join whenever they want, and they wouldn't have to request access or jump through any hoops to join the workshop. So looking at a brief content overview, we see that it's all revolving around challenging behaviors. And the different modules that we would work through are the 4 little offspouts that you see. So we would look at what is causing the challenging behaviors, how can they be prevented, and then how should you respond both when and after it happens. So that would be the 4 different modules that they would be looking at. And looking more into the logistics of the workshop, you see the content perspective, the learners, the learning objectives, and then the assessments that are present. So the content perspective is generated through an interest or a need in finding the ways to deal with young children's behaviors, and it would use research techniques and ideas in order to address various situations. And then the learners would be parents or teachers, or really anyone that would like to learn more about how to deal with the challenging behaviors in the children that they have or they may have contact with. The learning objectives would be that the learners would be able to identify ways that challenging behaviors can be handled, as well as ways that they could potentially prevent these behaviors from occurring. Now, the assessment, there would be different types of assessments present. So looking more at the formative assessments, there would be little checks for understanding sprinkled in throughout the different modules where they would answer simple questions, just kind of check their understanding and gauge where they're at. And then at the end of the workshop, they would be asked to complete a very short Google form that has the 2 questions that are the learning objectives. So what are some ways that challenging behaviors can be handled? And then what are some ways that you can potentially prevent these behaviors? So while these will not be graded assessments, they will be a way for me to check back and see if the learners are really getting out what they're supposed to out of the content. So then I could change the workshop and modify it periodically to make sure that they really are gaining what I'm hoping for them. And then looking at the audience and the purpose, the audience would be the same as learners. That was kind of talked about in the logistics. So they would be parents or other teachers, and most likely in early childhood, or really anyone, again, that would like the ideas and techniques on how to deal with challenging behaviors. And then looking into the purpose of this overall workshop is every child has times where they exhibit challenging behaviors. It's a very prominent topic in early childhood, and it's very developmentally appropriate for the children to have these behaviors. So it would be designed to provide individuals with new ideas and techniques on how to tackle these behaviors in ways that aren't detrimental to the children and in ways that will work and be effective. So that is my idea for the professional environment to learn from, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. Thank you.